everyone. Welcome to Shell Point Today for Thursday, November 5th. I'm Adam Brown. On today's show, Dan Philgreen will take us on a tour of the laundry facility in the Island Tunnel and see one of the biggest machines on the Shell Point property. And Dee Horn will bring us a preview of the upcoming concert series featuring the Dance Company of Siberia. But first, we want to remind you that today is the day for the Identity Theft and Investment Fraud Seminar co-sponsored by the Academy of Lifelong Learning and the Legacy Foundation, featuring Lee County Sheriff Mike Scott and several other experts from our local police and legal community. You won't want to miss this presentation of very important information starting at 10:15 a.m. at the Village Church. Also today, the Photo Club is meeting in the Social Center on the island at 2:15. Is photography something you've always wanted to get better at? Well, come on out and check it out. It's amazing what you can learn from the talented photographers at Shell Point. If you like, you can bring an 8x10 photograph on the topic water and/or reflections for the critics wall. This will be a new category in the 2016 photo contest and show, so this is your chance to see what others think of your creative work. You can also learn about and sign up for this month's Naples Zoo field trip. For a little inspiration, you can check out Herb Sklar's exhibition in the gallery at the photo studio from 10 a.m. until noon today. Tomorrow, there will be a Health Connections event called Navigate Social Eating Out While on a Healthy Diet. Want to learn how to read menus and recognize hidden fats and high-calorie choices? Join nutrition coach Maria Raleigh for her presentation. She will discuss how to stay on track during the holidays. Again, that's tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. in the Social Center. Also tomorrow is the first day of the annual Holiday Craft Bazaar. Head on over to the Woodlands Commons and pick up a Christmas gift or two, or three, made by some of your creative, crafty neighbors. Details are on page 27 of your November Shell Point Life magazine. There is an amazing amount of work that goes on behind the scenes at Shell Point by dedicated employees who keep things running day after week after month after year. One center of such activity is the laundry in the Island Tunnel. Now, this is a place most of you don't see very often, if ever. But the sheets and pillowcases and cloth napkins that many of you touch every day see the place regularly. Dan Philgreen paid a visit and saw an amazing machine they have down there and the amazing employees who run it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Philgreen for Shell Point TV, and we are behind the scenes today at a place not many of you get to see very often, and that is the laundry on the island in the Island Tunnel. And Tony Arias here is the Environmental Services Manager. That covers quite a few bases. Tony, tell me the kind of things that your employees deal with.
Well, thank you. Welcome to Shell Point Laundry. I'm in charge of the laundry, pressure washing, window cleaning, trash, recycle, housekeeping, special services. So,
right. And I understand you have 83 people report to you. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's a lot of folks. Now, I don't know if I could remember 83 names, but that's a lot of territory. But a big thing is this laundry. Now, there's a lot of folks at Shell Point, and I know in my house, just my wife and I, we make a lot of dirty laundry.
Oh, yes.
So there's a lot of dirty laundry with as many people as live at Shell Point. Tell me how much laundry comes through this place.
We have an estimate between 7,000 and 8,000 pounds of soil linen coming through this laundry.
Wow. And I know a lot of that is things like napkins in the crystal dining room. There are placemats. There are towels, tablecloths, right?
Correct.
Okay. And a big
Pool
thing.
towels.
And it's amazing. Now, right over here, we've got these big industrial size washing machines. How much laundry can one of these machines hold?
125 pounds washers.
125 pounds. That's a lot of socks.
That's a lot. Probably 15 to 16 wash every machine.
All right, per day.
Per day.
Okay. And this place goes how long? What are the hours?
We open from 6 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night.
All right.
But we do mainly the whole washing process from 6 o'clock to about 1:30. And then from there on, like you see right now, it's just, just little things like most of it napkins and tablecloth.
Okay. So a lot of items need to go into the dryers, most things I suppose. And how many dryers we got here?
These are 4 dryers, 150 pounds each. And most of the times they keep going all day long.
Right.
Towels, hand towels, bath mats, everything gets
And
dried.
something that I know we don't have in our houses, you know, in our laundry at home that you have here. And that is a cooling system
Correct.
to actually take the heat out of all this hot air coming off the dryers and the ironing machine and so forth. And that's this unit down here that exchanges with water on the roof of the Crystal Dining Room, if I understand correctly.
Correct, and it pushes all the heat out to.
So actually, for the folks working on here, it's fairly comfortable in here.
Yes. Yes.
It's not bad. Now, this is the monster.
Yes.
This is the Chicago Flatwork Ironer Machine.
Yes.
And you know, folks, I don't know about you, but after a long, hard day, it feels so good to get into my bed with some nice, clean sheets. They're crisp. They feel so good. Nothing like clean sheets.
Correct.
And that's what this thing's all about.
Correct.
This machine will take an entire sheet and press it, fold it. It's amazing. And how many a day?
Between 1,000, 1,500 a day. We do the pavilion, all the assisted livings, and all the independent living in the island.
Fantastic. So this thing runs 9 hours a day, folks, 6 days a week,
Correct.
making your sheets cozy and wonderful.
Correct.
All right. So, but it's not just sheets. We're doing napkins. We're doing
Tablecloth, pillowcases, and all that goes through the ironer.
Now, I understand this machine has been around Shell Point quite a while.
17 years.
17 years.
Yes.
And I understand a service call on this machine costs $200 just for the guy to show up. But not for Shell Point,
Correct.
because we have a
For the past 15 years, we have Joseph maintaining this machine and everyday maintenance.
and every day he has to clean the sensors, check all the settings, check the belts, make sure this thing's working good. And when it breaks, he knows how to fix it.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yes.
We need to pay him some more money. Don't tell him I
Let
said
me
that.
talk to my boss about that.
But anyway, this machine, not only does it do the pressing, it also folds these items.
Correct.
And it's just an amazing thing. Now, I understand it did require some maintenance here recently. Tell me about that.
We replaced 37 burners
37
inside
burners.
the heating drum.
So this big drum in here that does the actual pressing is heated by gas,
Correct.
just like a gas stove, but instead of 4 burners on a stove, it has 37 burners.
Yes.
And they all had to be replaced.
Yes.
That means that big drum had to come out, and it must have taken weeks to get that done.
It took 24 hours.
24 hours. This is amazing. You have some amazing folks working here at Shell Point.
Oh, yes, we do.
And this is Joseph Julmeus. You might remember that 5 years ago, Joseph was awarded a very prestigious honor as the Employee of the Year for the entire state of Florida for ACA for his great work as an employee and also his charitable work doing mission work in Haiti. So Joseph, I'm learning things about Joseph all the time. I didn't know you were the guy that keeps this thing going. And tell us about it. Tell us about how you had to repair these burners and show us what it looks like.
Okay. We open the door and we move all the stuff and all the gas line. We take it out, and you move the burner out, and you take it pieces by pieces, one by one, and to clean it and to put a new one and to put it back on.
And all in 24 hours.
24 hours. And also, we have to do the maintenance every week to keep it running like that, because you have to reset and check and every check to clean the filter inside. If you don't do that, the machine will be stopped any minute.
Okay.
So you have to keep it running, keep it clean every day.
This looks like a command central for this thing right here. What are we seeing right here, Joseph?
That's correct. You see, the temperature is supposed to, you got the high temperature 227, and when you tell you 294 right now, so it's able to pick up. So no limit than 200, no limit than 340.
Okay.
If it's more than
At
240,
340, your sheets start turning brown, huh?
that's correct. That's correct. So you have
We don't
to-
want that.
No, you don't. You have to watch the temperature and you watch the speed.
Okay.
The speed is supposed to 40, and the temperature is supposed to 327, no higher than 350,
All right.
and to keep running.
So this is where we keep the temperature, the speed,
That's correct.
keep the thing going.
Good.
And all day long, we got good folks here
Yes.
feeding this thing. And this is the inside. They got to make sure it goes in straight.
That's correct.
So it does a good job flattening it out. It goes through here, gets ironed in one go, and then it gets folded, And then, so this would be the output side if some things come through here, but sheets actually get folded up and come out down there, correct?
That's correct. You got a course folder. You cut this in the middle, and you take it out. Over there, you pick up here.
So, next time you pick up that napkin at the Crystal Dining Room and have a nice clean napkin to use, or you pick up a towel maybe at the swimming pool and it's clean and folded and ready to go, or my favorite part, crawling into bed and having those clean sheets, you know where it all happened and the good folks that took care of that for you.
This year's Fine and Performing Arts concert series features some new and unusual talents. Direct from Russia, the Dance Company of Siberia is headed to our stage with a fine performance of spectacular folk dancing of that vast country. Dee Horn is here to give us a preview.
Hi, I'm Dee Horn. I'm a resident of Harbor Court and a friend of the arts. Music in Motion begins in November. Residents are encouraged to pick up the seasonal performance brochure and purchase your tickets at either the Island or Woodlands service desk, or go online at www.shellpoint.net/concerts. We start in November with the National Dance Company of Siberia on Friday, November 6th, 7:30 p.m. in the Village Church. Individual tickets are only $35 each, or save and buy the entire series and save $50. The proud people of Siberia have their own culture, literature, and art. And the National Dance Company of Siberia reveals the inspirational wealth of this nation as they express the wonderful nature of their land through choreography. The company was founded in 1960 and has been a success from the outset. The treasures of folk art performed in Siberian dancers are touched by the hand of artist Mikhail Godenko, a talented director and choreographer with creative imagination who founded the company and directed it until 1991. One of the most important elements in these scenic dances are the costumes. They combine vivid imagination with fine taste to help spectators imagine the world of Russia. The dance company's popularity is growing, having appeared in more than 60 countries and across the United States with their bright, energetic talent. Be sure to join me on Friday, November 6th, for the National Dance Company of Siberia. Thank you very much. I hope to see you at all the concerts this season.
And now it's time to take a look at today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Well, happy Thursday. This is the happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Caitlin Vanscoy, and I'm here with Bev Tanley, and we're going to let you know all of Thursday's activities that happen here at Shell Point. We start at 7:30 with Round Robin Doubles Tennis. That'll be at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. At 8 o'clock, the Men's Golf Association will be meeting at the Shell Point Golf Club. The Paddlers Club will be heading out for their weekly outing at 8:30 from the kayak storage. Then we move to 9 o'clock for Samba, the card game. That'll be in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. Shuffleboard is available at 9:15 at the Shuffleboard Courts on the island. And current events will be discussed in the game room of the Woodlands at 9:30. Another 9:30 activity is ladies match play tennis at the tennis courts at the Woodlands. At 9:45, introduction to line dancing will be in the Health Club on the island, followed by basic line dancing at 10:15 in the Health Club. Our last morning activity is at 11 o'clock. The Suzy Q heads out for Rum Runners. You do need to sign up for that trip. Well, that's it for the morning. Here's Bev to tell you all about our afternoon.
Thank you, Caitlin. At 12:45, we start with Mahjong. That's played in the Library Lounge on the island. And then we have the Spot Play Readers in the Osprey Room at 1:15. At 2 o'clock, the Stamp Ministry will be doing their work down in the tunnel in the Stamp Room. And the Photo Club will be meeting in the Social Center at 2:15. At 2:30, the Christmas Cantata rehearsal will be going on in the choir room at the Village Church. And we have a Health Connections class, Balance and Mobility Training Advanced in the Health Club at 2:45. At 4 o'clock, our seamstress will be in the Osprey Room for her weekly visit. At 4:30, we have an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. Pinochle will be played in the Library Lounge at 6:30, and we round out the evening at 7 o'clock with the Trailblazers Bible Study in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. We're happy to see you here today, and we'll be happy to see you again here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Colath with your Academy information for Thursday. At 7 o'clock, court pickup begins on the island for the overnight trip to the Kennedy Space Center Academy on the Go educational field trip. At 9 o'clock, a holiday writers workshop will be in the Buttonwood Room of the Woodlands. At 9:15, tips for buying new computing equipment will begin in the Technology Teaching Center on the island. Sign up is required. Also at 10:15, identity theft and investment fraud will take part in the Village Church on the island, and all are welcome. At 1 o'clock, we continue writing with David Singer in the Buttonwood Room of the Woodlands. Also at 1 o'clock, the Mahjong Basics class continues in the Country Kitchen on the second floor of the Arbor at the Woodlands. At 1:15, New Life for Old Computers will continue in the Technology Teaching Center on the island.
Menus for Thursday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is chicken gumbo in a bread bowl with fried okra. The dinner special is the Crystal Carving Board for $15.95, and the soup of the day is minestrone. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a sweet and sour meatball sandwich with pineapple and chips for $7.75. The dinner special is Thai night for $8.75. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are ribeye and shrimp scampi for $20.95, or tilapia piccata for $16.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm David Pavey. On Monday, October the 12th, 2015, 27-year-old Quinn Duane of Sacramento in California was on a high, anticipating her wedding just 5 days later. Quinn was marrying 27-year-old Landon Borup. They had been dating for 4 years and engaged for 1. Quinn's parents had forked out a small fortune for the wedding extravaganza, which included a lavish banquet at Sacramento's elegant 4-star Citizen Hotel. The invitations were in the hands of the guests, all 120 of them. Everything was ready for the big day. Imagine the shock, therefore, 5 days before the wedding, when Quinn called her mother, Carrie, informing her that the wedding wasn't going to happen after all. Her fiancé had developed cold feet and just called it off. Well, it didn't take the bride's mother long to come up with an alternative plan. Rather than cancel the banquet, she invited Sacramento's homeless for a once-in-a-lifetime meal at the Citizen Hotel. First to arrive was a woman who lives in a shelter. More followed her. Single people, families, grandparents, and babies. Rashad Abdullah arrived with his wife and 5 children. They ate like royalty in stark contrast to their usual struggle to satisfy their hunger. In addition to appetizers and salad, there was cauliflower, gnocchi, salmon, and even tri-tip roast beef, with plenty to go around for the 120 guests. Now, this amazing story of sacrificial generosity made me think of a couple of the stories Jesus told about banquets. They're recorded by Matthew in chapter 22 and Luke in chapter 14. The details of each banquet story differ, but in each case, those for whom the banquet was intended missed out, so the blessing went to totally undeserving people. That's the point. In Matthew's account, the servants went out into the streets and gathered all the people they could find, the bad as well as the good, and the banquet hall was filled with guests. In Luke's account, the servants went quickly into the streets and alleys of the town, and they brought in the poor, and the crippled, and the blind, and the lame. What's this all about? Jesus, the Messiah, came to welcome the Jewish people to his banquet table, so to speak. But the Bible tells us that his own people did not receive him. Indeed, the religious leaders handed him over to the Romans to be crucified, though a number of the rank and file believed in him, and they enjoyed the banquet, you might say. And when the teachers of religious law, who were Pharisees, saw Jesus eating with fraudulent tax collectors and other sinners, they asked his disciples, "Why does he eat with such scum?" Now that's a quote from Mark chapter 2, verse 16. Why does he eat with such scum? In other words, Jesus mixed with all the wrong people. The self-righteous religious leaders saw themselves as good enough for God, while many ordinary people accepted that they were bad enough to need him. Get the difference? Then after the resurrection, many who believed were persecuted and scattered, so the gospel reached out to many Gentiles. That is, to more of the wrong people, to the Jewish mind of the day anyway. But again, it was usually not to the high and the mighty, but the ordinary people, the Gentiles, who came to the banquet. The Apostle Paul pointed this out in his first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4. A modern phrase of his comments reads thus. Listen to this. Take a good look, friends, at who you were when you got called into this missionary life. I don't see many of the brightest and the best among you. Not many influential, not many from high society families. Isn't it obvious that God deliberately chose men and women that the culture overlooks and exploits and abuses? He chooses these nobodies to expose the hollow pretensions of the somebodies. That makes it quite clear that none of you can get by with blowing your own horn before God. Everything that we have, right thinking, right living, a clean slate, a fresh start, it all comes from God by way of Jesus Christ. There's another rather solemn message here. A warning, in fact, that we can be so smart and so good in our own eyes that the message of forgiveness and, in consequence, the message of peace with God passes us by completely and we miss the banquet. You remember the story of the prodigal son? When he repented, he returned to his father and he asked for forgiveness, recognizing he deserved nothing. Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son, he said. But the father said to his servants, quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And so they began to celebrate. It was time for a banquet. Those down and outs in Sacramento didn't deserve a banquet. They simply responded to the generous invitation of a kind family. And when, like the prodigal son, we repent and ask our Heavenly Father for forgiveness, we get to enjoy God's banquet. Not because we deserve it, but because we don't. And thank you for tuning in once again to Village Church Connections.
And that's going to wrap things up for the Thursday edition of ShellPoint Today. Be sure to join us again tomorrow when we'll get a preview of the upcoming senior self-defense class with Ingrid Oliver and Heather Batty. And we'll recap the top stories from this week. Until then, this has been ShellPoint Today for Thursday, November 5th. I'm Adam Brown, and on behalf of everyone here at SBTV, We hope you have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.